raise the rent of all single mothers.
Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home. That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
No, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You're the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, everybody. I'm the American Anchor Baby, and you're watching my show. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. See y'all rolling in. Thank you very much. American Anchor Baby, about to get started here. Got some stuff to get into. Off the heels of Joel Friday on Tuesday. Very cool. We're gonna get, I'm doing a little bit of Joel here. Hey, maybe I'm not the blackest one on the Bond Network, because I don't do that. We're gonna get into some stuff today. And I appreciate Joel talking about the feelings. It's going to fit a little bit here, so we're going to keep it rolling. We're going to get into some stuff here. That and your calls, 888-775-3773, if you want to join in. Hop on the line and get something off your mind or comment about what we're going to get into here. So thank you. Going to get into it here. American Anchor Baby here on YouTube if you want to drop that. Subscribe and like the stream. It helps, you know. People super chat and they appreciate and support in ways that cost money, but that's one way you can support. That will really help. Let's game the algorithm here. Let's get it out. Like and subscribe here on YouTube or over there on American Anchor Baby or over on Rumble. Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. I see y'all over there. Thank you. So appreciate that. Yeah, so big targets in the media lately. Couple targets in the media. The media has a couple names that are floating around. Okay, obviously Trump, you obviously know that, but Elon Musk as well. Elon Musk, you know Elon Musk. SpaceX, Tesla, okay, richest man in the world. He just had another baby, I believe. Another son, by the way. So either he's a real man or he's, I don't know, maybe he's got some genetic stuff going on. Or he knows, I'm not going to get into that. But he had another son. Real men have boys first. Killing it. Elon Musk, though, is not a fan. The media doesn't like him, especially lately, okay? And there's been talks that he prevented a nuclear war. So some are thanking him, some aren't. And so John Frederick says, I thought it was in the positioning. I don't know what you're talking about here, sir. John Frederick, that's not what I was about to say. That would be, I don't even know what you're getting at on how to have boys. I thought it was, anyways, stop chat. Elon Musk is in the news. He's a big media target right now. And there's talks that he stopped war because of a little thing called Starlink. Starlink is basically an array of satellites, if you believe that. Jeez, the well has been poisoned by the flat earthers. But there's satellites, a network of satellites that provide internet to users connected to this network, okay? Which is supposed to be amazing, right? It's out in space. You can get it wirelessly. You could be in a jungle. As long as you got Starlink above you, you're set. Well, there is an urban jungle, if you will, which has become a war zone. There's a war going on. You know that? Russia, Ukraine. And so Elon Musk is the target of these talks lately. The claims are that, and claims that he's responded to and confirmed, maybe some details here or there cleared up, but the claims that came out that he stopped Ukraine, the Ukrainian military from connecting to Starlink in a planned drone attack that would be striking the Russian, Russian targets. I believe the Russian fleet, ocean fleet, right? The Navy. I don't know if they have a different name for it over there, but that was the plan. Ukraine was going to use the internet, the power of the internet, to remote control drone strike the Russian assets. And so they're saying his secret call behind the scenes likely prevented World War III. And so he basically clarified and said, well, it's not that we had Starlink on in the area and then we turned it off. It's just that we never had it on, and we were asked to turn it on as an emergency call from Ukraine. And Elon Musk basically just didn't allow it. He didn't allow it due to talks he had with the Russians about that this would result in a nuclear war, basically. And so the corporate media, the media is pumping out negative articles, if you will, about all this. The explosives claim, which set off alarms and triggered a tsunami of question about Musk's role as a key figure, potentially determining the fate of Vladimir Putin's ruthless war. CNN. And so even if you just look it up, even if you just do a little Google and you just, just look up Elon Musk in the news, you start getting a little taste of what they're saying, okay? Top news, Elon Musk. About the, what's it called here? The Ukraine stuff here. I'm bumbling with the tabs here so I can show you what's up. There it is. And so how Elon Musk went from superhero to supervillain. Explosive Elon Musk biography hitting the shelves about major claims of Starlink and all that. Elon Musk's refusal to have Starlink support Ukraine attacking Crimea raises questions for the Pentagon. So the U.S. government's going to get involved. Hold up. Elizabeth Warren demanding probes of Elon Musk now after Ukraine revelations. So the U.S. government's got to get involved and investigate this guy. Is this guy supporting the Putin? What's going on here? And so that's kind of the vibe right now. Just not wanting to escalate a war is tantamount to supporting Putin. And now you have government officials asking for probes of this private citizen, right? They're even pointing out how now Putin is being hailed as an outstanding person. Musk is being hailed as an outstanding person by Putin. Putin praises Elon Musk, and so they're pumping out these articles too. See, look, Putin loves this guy. Putin loves this guy, so that must mean he's bad. And so that's kind of the target right now. Let me move this back to me. There it is. So Elon Musk may have prevented war. And let me just remind you guys a little something. Remind you about something. If you remember, let's remember a moment here, just a couple months ago, pretty much a year ago now, how the mob responded to another, what some said was a desire to de-escalate the war. Elon Musk put out this Twitter poll back when it was called Twitter. I remember when it was called Twitter, like about a year ago, about the Ukraine-Russia peace. He put out a poll, and he proposed a couple things here. He said, let's redo the elections of the annexed regions under the UN supervision. A little reminder, Russia invades the Donbass, takes Crimea. The world is like, whoa. America's like, they're invading. We got to protect Ukraine. And the whole thing was that, well, Russia's saying these people are Russian. They want to be with us. So they went in, they did like a vote, and the results came back saying, see, they want to be part of us. Of course, people said, well, these people are lying. When an invading force comes in and puts out a vote like that, well, how can we trust it? Well, Elon Musk, in the desire to advance peace, proposes a redo of the elections supervised by the UN. Crimea formally becomes part of Russia. Russia leaves if that is the will of the people. Crimea formally becomes a part of Russia, as it has been since 1783. Water supply assured. Ukraine remains neutral. If you remember this, and the media went after him. This guy is supporting. This guy wants Russia to win. We cannot accept this is not acceptable. You're asking Ukraine to give up the Crimea, the Donbass here. How can this be acceptable terms here? And it was just totally mischaracterized. This was the point here is peace. The point is not let's pick sides here. Okay, Russia wants Crimea. Let's redo let's figure this out. Let's avoid nuclear war. Let's avoid some pretty serious things here. And so that's how he was mischaracterized. And the media went after him and all that. Just a little reminder of how the media, government, but also how, because a lot of what I'm going to say here, I'm going to tie it back to how people are, okay? And you'll notice that what the mob said about his Twitter poll there is what your own neighbors are saying now. People you know, your friends and family, supporting Ukraine, okay? So we'll get into that. It'll be an important point. So Putin loves him. The media's after him. Big target. Setting it up for, I don't know. Scott Adams says they're setting it up for something. He says it seems like half of the so-called news this week looks like a coordinated op to jail or kill Trump and Musk. How crazy that idea would have sounded a few years ago. But he's just pointing out how the media's tone has changed. The media is targeting people, and it's just, you see the setup a little bit. So I don't know, Scott Adams, a little conspiratorial, but I'll leave it at that. Scott Adams, thank you. But anyways, where was I? They got a new baby. And in response to all this, he's based little response here from Elon. We got to love it. In a response to a video summarizing everything that's happened here with Starlink, with the government, and Elizabeth Warren wanting to probe Elon Musk. It seems like wings of the government have mobilized, basically implying and showing, or really just showing that you don't support Ukraine, you don't support what we're doing, we're going to make you, or we're going to make you out to be a criminal, a person that should be probed. We're going to make you out to be a Russian, a Russian supporter that Putin loves, who Putin finds outstanding. He says in this response, I am a citizen of the United States and have only that passport. I'm talking about Elon Musk in a response here. Elon Musk responds on X.com. I am a citizen of the United States and have only that passport. No matter what happens, I will fight for and die in America. Dang. That's more than you could say for the American anchor baby with the dual citizenship in Canada. He's an anchor baby from Canada. Don't judge me, y'all. I'm not as good as an American as Elon Musk. So, well, he says he only has one passport. So maybe he has multiple citizenships. I only have one passport, the American one. So, hey, maybe it's not that bad. But it's not about me. He says the United States Congress has not declared war on Russia. If anyone is treasonous, it is those who call me such. Please tell them that very clearly. Right on, Elon Musk, standing up for himself. And it's true. What war is what hot war hasn't started? What obligation does Elon Musk have here? Seems like he had every, and we should be thanking him for keeping things calm. Okay? Keeping things calm because it's kind of needed right now. It's kind of needed. So this biography came out basically with this claim, and I don't need to get into all that. So that's a target right there. Big media target right now. Media target 2, Trump and his supporters. You know all this as well. The news now, running down the news here a little bit. Biden is getting impeached. Kevin McCarthy making it official. I'm directing our House committee to open a formal impeachment inquiry. So they got that going now. And it's just like a big fight. They tit for tat. That's another phrase you might want to remember. It'll fit thematically. Tit for tat. Egos at play. Now, I'm not saying like there is no room for that, but it doesn't seem like anyone really trusts any of these processes. The conservatives and Republican voters see them as rhinos and ineffective, and the Democrats are just mad. They're just angry. I mean, they're probably angry Republicans too. Obviously they are. They have to be. That's why they're so weak. But the Democrats are just like, destroy them. Impeach them. I don't care about the rule of law. And so it all gets thrown out the window, and now it's back and forth, and the public is left confused and supporting things they don't really understand. Yeah, get him back. Get him back. Marjorie Taylor all mad that she didn't get to do it first. Marjorie Taylor Greene all mad. She's saying, Kevin McCarthy on Twitter, you know, the videos going around of him introducing the impeachment and all that. She quote tweeted it or whatever. Like, actually, I tried to do it first. So the big targets there too. Trump and his supporters. We're seeing these crazy sentences coming down. We're talking decades in prison. What? 20 plus years, 17 years, some of them, whatever. I forget the numbers, but they're a lot nearing violent terrorists, nearing sentences handed down to violent terrorists. People who were just not even in the Capitol, in fact, January 6th. So that's all going down. And the media ignores it. For example, this protest here. Kevin McCarthy got stormed. Far-left activists storm U.S. Speaker Kevin McCarthy's office. Oh, insurrection? Yo, what? But isn't this an insurrection? I mean, the media doesn't care about that. But this is that moment where some protesters apparently were trying to stop the processes of the rule of law in Congress, the most holy, sacred grounds of this country. How dare they? This does remind me of a recent event. Pass PEPFAR now, McCarthy. Don't you hear him? I don't know. So PEPFAR is some AIDS thing. PEPFAR. Pass PEPFAR now is a program that addresses the HIV/AIDS epidemic. Is it really an epidemic? Everything's an epidemic, right? Maybe y'all should stop. Anyways. So yeah. Owen Schroyer. You see Jesse on InfoWars. Owen Schroyer all the time. Sentenced to 60 days in January 6th case. He wasn't even there. That was today. This came down today. MSNBC conspiracy theorist, they call him. Conspiracy theorist was the conspiracy theorist that was with Alex Jones on the grounds of the Capitol on January 6th. On the grounds, but never entered the building. Thank you, MSNBC, for even though you did a little editorializing there in your sub-headline. What is this? Is it a sub-headline? The conspiracy theorist, a little editorializing, but thank you. You're correct. He never entered the building. Doesn't that raise some questions for you, MSNBC, or... that's just just going to put that in there. You're not going to opinionate. That's not a word. You're not going to opine. You're not going to give your little opinion. Editorialize, maybe. Anyways. Owen Schroyer. So we're seeing all this. And look what the media is saying. Look, as this is coming out, Elon Musk, all of a sudden, Putin loves Trump too. I mean, they've been saying that about Putin. That he loves Trump, or at least Trump is all up with Russia, right? But now there's this video going around. Putin says the persecution of Trump has exposed the U.S. system as rotten. Is this a psyop? Is this a media psyop? Here's Putin. I think he speaks English in this.
То, что касается преследования Трампа, это, конечно,
oh, no, he doesn't.
Для нас то, что происходит, В сегодняшних условиях, на мой взгляд, это хорошо.
Почему?
Потому что это показывает всю гнилость американской политической системы, которая не может претендовать на то, чтобы учить других демократии. Все, что происходит с Трампом, это преследование.
Everything that is happening with Trump is the persecution of a political rival for political reasons. That's what it is. And this is being done in front of the U.S. public and the whole world. They simply expose their internal problems. A little translation there. I don't speak Russian. I'm just reading the captions. Right on, Putin. Let's go, Putin. But yeah, see, Putin loves him. He must be a bad guy. They cannot pretend to teach anyone about democracy. Everything that is happening with Trump in front of the whole world, they expose their internal problems. Whatever you think about anything that's going on, whatever side you land on, look, there are internal problems, right? And they are exposed big time. So, right on, Putin. Let's go. We are... Anyways. So where was I? What a mess, right? What a mess. And all this talk of war, right? War, elections. There's like these things that are coming up. These topics been on my mind this morning. And what's been on my mind today, putting this all together, kind of getting this to all of you is, you know, these words. We're thinking of Trump, war, Biden, impeachment, Elon Musk, Starlink. It's like all this talk, it feels like, honestly though, it feels like no one really cares about anything serious. And that's why these are, I mean, they're big things that are happening. But we still have our daily lives, right? We still have our lives individually. And it feels like people kind of hyper into big bombastic things because it feels like people don't really care about their individual lives or anything serious. Like, for example, I can even hear some of you laughing already. An election. What, you vote? You still believe in that? Fair questions. But my point is not so much about the minutia there, but in that it's what people care about. And it doesn't feel like people have any faith. What I'm trying to say is that people don't really have any faith in anything that requires time and patience and proper processes like an election. You see what I'm saying? And they would rather a big event that would save everything. A big event that'll change stuff. And 2024 is important. We want Trump in there. It's got to happen. It's got to happen. It just seems more and more we're at like an inflection point. Looming war, etc. But also us in our individual lives, we still have our daily lives. And people are kind of putting all their chips on a big event. An election, a war. And I think that's its own setup. You know what I mean, y'all? That's its own setup because I don't think we can hyper-focus on that without any reflecting on ourselves. We'll never explain what's really going on. It'll never, ever, ever really explain what's going on because what's been going on I'm learning has been going on forever. I'm reading this stuff about the big wars, the great wars, World War I and II. It's all going to fit. We'll get into that in a moment here. But it's big. You can't really explain what's going on. And let me demonstrate this for you. In fact, let me demonstrate this for you with a story out of Chicago. City that's just had a lot of issues. A lot of issues. Just YouTube videos of drive-thrus through Chicago suburbs. Right? There's still cities and like nice areas. But just dilapidated ghetto areas, crime. Every weekend, remember? You remember all that reporting? Every weekend it's dozens shot and dead. Inner cities, black crime, And you know this city very well, especially if you're conservative and watch any conservative stuff. It's always these mayors. Remember, it was Lori Lightfoot right before this Brandon Johnson guy who was elected. He was voted in. And so the story comes out of Chicago with this mayor, Brandon Johnson, who wants to push this mansion tax on homes that sell for more than $1 million, okay? And so that's the whole thing is tax these people who make money. They're going to sell their home, these expensive $1 million homes. Some of that money should go to the city, to us, to me and you, is how these politicians talk. They got to go to us, these rich people. Meanwhile, it's a rich person, politician telling you that. Which that by itself is not bad, but follow me here. Tax a mansion tax on homes that sell for more than $1 million. And he also wants to tax household earnings $100,000 or more. In a report named First We Get the Money, newly appointed Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson looking to implement a tax. Property owners who sell their homes for between $1 million and $1.5 million would see tax rates rise from 0.75% to 2%. You know there's like a whole bunch of taxes already. You don't really own your homes in this country. Okay, like ultimately. Just don't pay the tax, you'll find out. Allies of Mayor Johnson have also announced plans to push a $12 billion plan for the city titled, First We Get the Money. Oh, we gonna get the money. And so, this guy took over Lori Lightfoot's job. You remember this is just a mess of a woman, just emotional. Gets offended by this or that slight, this or that person, anything. Oh, she's out there. Always offended. And made things very racial. I remember this one story where she was only taking, I believe was only talking to reporters that were black and something like that. You guys will probably remember. And so he took over that job. And now he's here in the city rife with crime and all this thing that's going bad. And the people had this vote, this election. Let's get Lori Lightfoot out. They had a chance to vote in this other guy. I forget his name. But he was a white guy supported by the police. This guy supported by Brandon Johnson supported by the schools, if I remember. So Johnson believes people that own properties worth $1 million in the third largest city in the U.S. are rich and should pay if they sell those homes. So it's not enough to tax. It's not. Now if you're selling your assets here, you rich person, you're going to make so much money. You evil person who wants to keep it all for yourself, who's probably racist. I'm adding to it, but we all know that these ideas float around and they're common ideas amongst people with anger. Ooh, okay. The plan, seemingly named after a quote from the 1983 film Scarface, aims to build a more just Chicago. See, there you go. I wasn't even reaching. When they say more just Chicago, they're saying these people who got the money, they're a bunch of racists, and that's why we don't have a more just Chicago. That's what that means. More just. For who? Blacks and the disadvantaged. The disadvantaged. The plan named. So, anyways, first we get the money. See, my point here. This is what I wanted to demonstrate. Why am I talking about this story? Because I want to demonstrate something behind the motivations of people and how we can explain a little bit of what's going on here with the wars, with looming war, and the media going after someone who wants peace, and people ignoring logic and going with blatant lies at this point. Here's a blatant lie. First we get the money. He calls it first we get the money. And black people know this, that the politicians don't help them. There's this video going around. Fed up voters. There's a little bit of swearing, but I'll try and stop it before the swearing. But just want you to get the energy of the black voters here. The black voters, they're not totally blind, because the idea is that they all vote Democrat, right? They always vote Democrat so they get what they deserve.
They don't really care.
But they're not happy with what's going on. At least some aren't.
About us.
They got the opportunity to come meet us out right now. There's a nice.
This is in Oakland, just to be accurate here. This is not in Chicago, but this is in Oakland. But follow me here.
We vote. All of us vote, and we gonna remember this shit.
We do vote.
You feel what I'm saying? We gonna remember when they couldn't come outside and talk to us because they too far in their ass. You feel me?
Well,
we out here suffering.
No, you don't.
We suffer. If I put somebody right now, you know how long it take the police to get here? You feel what I'm saying? It's wild, wild west out here. And they don't give a damn about us. They send this puppet nigga, who ain't even from this community, to say nothing.
Sorry, but he has the N-word pass, okay? He's allowed to say that. And he said it as when a man with his skin tone, with the documentation that he has, known as the N-word pass, says the word with the A at the end, he's just saying this is a person, okay? So don't get all crazy. And he's saying this puppet A person, I'm sorry, I got all excited from his energy. I didn't mean to say that. This puppet A person, they sent this puppet A person. I like that he called him this little puppet to come and calm the people down. Now, I don't really know the situation here, but you're getting the vibe here. They're not totally asleep. That's why they ousted Lori Lightfoot. But we're left here with a question. How is it that this keeps happening? How is it that this keeps happening? That someone comes around, and now he's not even hiding it. He's saying, first we get the money. Now it's not. At least they used to hide it and kind of try. You know, there was an art. There was an art in the brainwashing and controlling of your selected pawn group, which in this case is the blacks. There was an art. There was a mastery in the illusion, in the lie. But now it's just, hey, first we get the money, right? Vote for me, we're gonna get the money. And then they turn around and they start counting the money right in front of you. And they're like licking there, counting the money. And then they turn around because you're making some noise like, hey, you forgot about me. And they're like, ew, get away from me. And then just keep counting the money. They're not even playing. There's no art to it anymore. Just first we get the money. So how does this keep happening? How are people falling for this? You wonder, how do they keep making the same mistake? And then you get people watching this and they say, well, you get what you deserve, and that's true. You get what you vote for, you get what you deserve. Sorry, Chicago, bye. But what's going on here? What's the explanation? It's so crazy, you have to be crazy not to believe in God. I'm reading about the big wars, World War I, World War II, and how the German and British royalties, for example, World War I, the come up to World War I. Because I grew up in school, they told me they assassinated the Franz Ferdinand, okay? And that kicked off the war because of all these alliances. And I'm like, I never understood. You're telling me that all these people died because one man was assassinated? I just never really understood. I come to read a little bit more about it, and I realize, and I learn about how the German and British royalties before the World War I had these tit for tat instances of slights and things that were going on. Now there was actual economic, you could call it economic war. It wasn't anything. It wasn't like blood spilled, but it was like tariffs and okay, we have a big navy, the Royal British Navy, and we control the waters, and that has brought Europe a lot of stability. And we don't like you Germans making a whole bunch of ships. It makes us nervous. Why are you nervous? And so the Germans are like, well, we don't. We have You're an island, and you don't have the enemies that you have. We got Russia encroaching on us. We got the French who are still they're still a little salty after Napoleon, and they're like, I don't know. We don't like these guys. We're a little nervous here. We want our own fleet. And so it's tit for tat. There was German royalty that would show up to these one dinner, I forget. And he said, I was treated like a grandson, like a stepchild, instead of German royalty. And then he went off and went back to his statesman and said, you know what? We got to start building the fleet. We don't care if it starts war. There was secret talks of future German-Franco wars and stuff. And all this tit for tat ego's at play. But I'm also reading about how what the public believed at the time. Because it wasn't just kings and egos and British and German statesmen, people of money, and had no idea, and they had no connection to the people. It wasn't just that. It was really a lot of large swaths, in fact, the majority, really. It wasn't so divided as it is in this country. Some of these countries were a little more homogenous, I saw back then, so that might have something to do with it. But the public would adopt the sentiments and feelings of the German and British elite. they too would felt slighted that the German chancellor was treated in such a way. And the media played its part too. Headlines came out saying, we got slighted. I'm being very simplistic and in my summary, but I hope you're following me here. The public would adopt these feelings, and war and the setup for war was there. Doesn't it remind you a little bit of how our own neighbors and friends and people who never cared about politics are just, I support Ukraine. Elon Musk's a racist. I can't believe he's with Putin. And Putin's a criminal, absolute criminal. This cannot stand. We must destroy Russia. Like how many, I'm kind of adding to it, but I know a lot of people who in their support of Russia maybe not knowingly support everything else I just mentioned, but some are adopting those same emotions and feelings. They're adopting this anti-Russia, pro-Ukraine thing, and it's totally insane. It's so insane that you'd have to be insane not to believe in God and spirits and the demons and the mind. It's kind of like how I woke up to the spiritual world when I saw the evil against Trump. It didn't make sense to me how my friends who yesterday never spoken a word about politics, and they're Democrats, and they've adopted every word, every idea. They're gobbling it up. As soon as they hear it, they spit it back out, and they become little NPCs. It woke me up to the spiritual world. It had to be demons. A logical person, as I believed myself to be, right? I was this little atheist, and I was like, I'm super logical. But that might have helped, because the only logic you could only arrive to, these are demons. These are spirits taking over people. And so you see how the great wars to today, it's really a spiritual thing. The people that the people in Chicago, how does this keep happening? You get what you deserve. Yeah, they get what they deserve, but what's happening is like biblical, and no amount of facts and PragerU conservative videos, as helpful as they are, and I learned a lot through them as well. But it's a heart change. It's a spiritual thing. It really is. It's crazy. You can only explain it like that. How is it that these people are looking at this guy saying, we get the money, and everything's destroyed around them, and this guy's like, and it's just a new face telling them the same old lie. We're going to make a more just place. These people are not making it just, but I'm going to make it just for you. And then he turns around and starts counting the money. Ew, get away from me. What do you want? I'm counting my money. Leave me alone. So, I mean, that's just the only way I can explain all this. Where was I? Y'all following? What's going on here? Let me see what the chat's saying. Yeah. Rooting for Putin? What's up, Carver? Yep. What's up, Vlad? What do you think about all this Russia talk? How you doing, man? Anchor Baby was dropped while crowd surfing to the assassination of Franz Ferdinand. Why? Why are you so nervous? You guys are funny. Yeah, 888-775-3773. If you guys want to get in there. That R was hard, spoiler alert, really? No. I did say the A word, Willie Pal, and I am ashamed. I know they say my show is R-rated, but that's just because I'm a little loosey with callers, although I'll sometimes get on them at 12 during the American Anchor Baby time. It's like the sun's still out, man. The sun is still up. Are you really going to be swearing and talking about dirty stuff already? But, I don't really censor the clips, especially if the sun's down. But I don't want to be all swearing up a storm here, okay? So I do sincerely apologize. I think that's only a couple times that's ever happened on this show. The black voters in Oakland. Yeah. Thank you for the links. Spoiler alert. Prime mod. Yeah. What are y'all saying? Oh, yes, it was. LOL. So it was a hard R. My bad. Yeah, I don't even think, even if you have the proper documentation, the N-word pass, I still think if you go hard R, even in that case, black people the vibe changed. It could still be funny and comedic, But the vibe changed. The vibe changes even when they say the hard R, because it's like, hold up. It's, I think, more confrontational, or like you're trying to insult them like the white people did. I'm using that word on you. Am I wrong? All right, y'all. So that's that little thing I've been thinking about today. But here's some videos that some of y'all are thinking about. Sorry, sometimes I'm accusatory to my own chat. So I'll read some people. I'll read the comments on a Twitter post, and I don't know, I'll accuse all you, but that's not necessarily you guys. I'm talking about some videos going around. What do I want to do first? Yeah, sure. Talking about, here's what we'll do, actually. We'll do these videos because we'll do this Danny Masterson stuff in the next hour. You might have heard of this. Is this a Scientologist rapist, or is this another Me Too casualty? It's kind of crazy. Some of the calls we had on the JLP show today, too. Whew. We'll get into all that. But check these videos out that have been kind of going viral. Amongst the conservatives, the dissidents, they're about Israel, especially on the is it the heels of 9/11? No, that's not how you use that expression, do you? If you're on the heels of something, are you before it or after? Before it. So maybe not the heels. But basically, Israel, Yerushalayim, Israel is on people's minds a little bit, amongst the dissident right especially after 9/11. I don't know why, though. I don't even understand why. But there's some videos coming out of Israel. And it's Christian preachers in Israel being accosted in the street. Okay? And these videos are proof that they hate Christians, okay? And I've heard something about this, that Christians aren't really welcome. Is this true? That I'm going to say, is this true? And then people are going to say, yeah, it is, but then you don't really know. People do that all the time. You say, yeah, it is true, Nick. They hate Christians. And then you don't really know. So I don't know if there's any point in asking y'all. But if someone from Israel knows, maybe, are you allowed to pray over there? Like Christian prayers? These videos are going around. One, Christian women are spat on, kicked and whipped, verbally abused, and have their dress dragged for talking about Jesus in Israel. And then this other clip, it's a man. And this man is, confronting these, what they're saying are Christian preachers from the U.S. Okay, so we'll watch this first one here of the kicking the women and the spitting, of the kicking and the spitting. They're doing the kicking and the spitting. Oh my God. Check it out. Oh, dang. That's a lady. Those are really young boys. It's a lady, y'all. I don't know if they're swearing in whatever language they're speaking.
By the children?
Okay, you daughter of a B word. You daughter of an itch. Look, this little boy's just... Sorry, that's not funny. This is horrible. This little boy is throwing... What is he throwing at her? Hate is learned, okay? See? Hate is learned. Is he throwing like chips at her? What is that? Ooh. Is this just replaying? My bad. Oh, it's a long video. Hold on. So is that what's going on here? Christian preachers being hated on the streets of Israel? What is going on? Hold up. Another video here. Christian preachers from the U.S.
Let me just, before you continue talking, you're going to go to jail. Because the police here, 99% conviction rate. Shut up.
Shut up or you're going to go to jail. 99% conviction rate. Not sure what he's talking about.
We don't do
Sounds like the feds.
anything illegal. You cannot take us to jail. If you are not involved, please go.
We're not doing anything illegal. You can't take us to jail.
Shalom, my friend. We bless you.
Shalom.
You're in my country.
You're in my country, he says.
You come to the United States, you can say whatever you want to say. That is a free world, yes?
You're not in the United States. You're in Israel.
I understand.
You cannot say whatever you want to say here.
Yes, you can. It's legal. It is legal to preach about Yeshua. We preach at Damascus Gate. The police said it's okay. We preach at Jaffa Gate. The police says
interesting accent for a U.S. citizen, but I mean, that's not uncommon. What am I talking about?
it's okay. Please stop. I respect you, respect me. Huh? That is the right thing. Are you Jewish? Do you want to honor God?
He said, you might have missed it. He might have missed it. He said,
that is the right thing. Are you Jewish? Do you want to honor God? That is the godly thing to do. We respect one another.
To respect one another, right? The godly thing to do, he says. Aren't you Jewish?
The thing to do is just to kill you.
He said the godly thing is to kill you if you missed it.
The godly thing is to kill me.
That's right. That's
Yes?
what the Torah says.
The Torah says to kill us.
The Torah says that people who worship idols such as yourself, when there is a Sanhedrin,
To kill us.
yes.
Okay.
That's what the Torah says.
So we know how the Jewish people feel about Christians, yes? That you discriminate against Christians.
Christians are idol
You
worshippers.
discriminate against
The Torah
Christians.
says that Christianity is idol worship.
Let me
But he's, yo. So I don't know, y'all. Like, is this like, that's just one guy, right? That's just one radical guy, right? He's just a hateful person. Like, all angry people talk like that. And maybe the Torah does say that. I might have Googled that. And it says something about that. I didn't quite understand. I wish I could ask my previous guest about that, Josh, about the Torah and the killing of idol worshippers. That was like a long time ago, right? You know, idol worshippers. I don't know, like, anyways, I don't know how common this is, but I've never seen stuff like this out of Israel. And so kind of interesting if you find that interesting. I don't know much about that, but you catch like the second plot that's going on here. He says, you're in my country. You're in my country, he says. And so these are U.S. preachers coming in Israel, and they're out there preaching. And you might think, well, you could do that in the U.S., he says. But you're not in the U.S., he says. And look, I don't know about all the Jewish stuff. I don't know about all the Jewish stuff, if they hate Christians over there and all that. I don't know about all that. I'm not denying it. I just don't know. But where's the same? I'm in the comments here of this tweet, of this post, and where's the same energy for because for the U.S. invaders changing the way of life of the poor Israeli citizens there. You know what I mean? Can't you understand? Can't you understand that a little bit, huh? You know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm stealing this from Hake, but he's just so right about this. And I don't know if I'm mischaracterizing or misquoting Hake here, my apologies, but I believe he said that he supports, he appreciates the Zionists and Zionism. What's wrong with that? You want that? We want nationalism. Like, if Zionism means a home for the Jews, which is nationalism, wouldn't you want that here? I agree with y'all. Hey, you should have your home. Zionism, let's go. Right on, Zionists. Get your home. We appreciate that because we want that for our place. Borders, a home that we could protect, all that, right? You know what I'm saying? These Christian protesters are coming into this Jewish country and like immigrants here. You know what I mean? Can we understand that a little bit, huh? I appreciate their tenacity, says Willie Powell. We can appreciate that. I mean, I don't know why you'd have such a visceral reaction to a Christian. Just like, hey, we should just accept people. But hey, this is a foreigner from the U.S. preaching that. He might even be one of those Christianese Christians. And those, as decent as they are, and as I would rather them neighbors than anyone else, maybe that just too much for a Jewish person, at least this individual Jewish person. And he says, you know what? Y'all got to go. Y'all got to go. That's not what Zionism is, Nick. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. Sorry. But I'm kind of on the right track, right? There may be more to Zionism that I don't understand. But did I get those basics correct? It's just a desire for a home. Nick doesn't understand the J. Jews always do the rules for thee, but not for me. And that's wrong if that's going on. But I'm just saying, it doesn't, where's the same energy, right? Where's the same energy? Where are y'all in the comments saying, hey, this guy, whether you agree or not, is a foreigner. Trying to tell people, trying to impose. That's not Christian. Imposing. Zionism is Christians uplifting the Jewish religion while they want to kill you, says Frederick L.A. Oh. Okay. So that's a little, just some videos going viral. I've never seen that kind of stuff. Thought you might want to see it. But also, a little bit of understanding here. Don't you find this a little interesting? Okay. What are y'all saying in the chat? Oh, let me make sure I didn't miss anybody here. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Hold on. Thank you, Carver. Appreciate that. Super chatted earlier. Says, Nick destroys top 10 ways to game the algo reaction. Let's go. Giving me a little suggestion on how to title videos. You got to love it. All caps. I do use that naming scheme. I'll all caps the most crazy things. Me Too casualties continue? What? Danny Master, what? How can I make my YouTube title even crazier? Me Too mob lynches, literally lynches. Okay, no, we don't have to do all that. We don't gotta do, literally lynches another man. Let me pull up, hey, everybody here at the office, Sean, everybody, if you guys are trying to reach me, I just logged into Stack again, my bad. So I am now logged in, and in fact, I believe I have a caller. Thank you. 888-775-3773. You want to call in. I got Nicholas out of Seattle. Thank you for your call. You're on the air.
Hey, Nick. How you doing today?
Just fine, Nick. All is well.
Right
well,
on.
I mean, you said you're Nicholas. I don't want to just start nicknaming you like that.
That's fine. I'm not offended.
Right on. Well,
but
go ahead.
Saw this video that you're talking about right now. I actually saw this on Instagram like day before yesterday.
Uh-huh.
And I just thought, I watched it a couple times, and the big thing that strikes me about it is something that I deal with on a pretty regular basis, and that's cultural assimilation of people traveling and living, especially like moving to like different countries. To where it's like, you know, this guy knows what he's doing. You know, this guy like, oh, you know, we didn't get in trouble for preaching about Yeshua here or there. It's like, well, now you're here, brother.
Yeah.
You know? So where, and this is something that happens a lot in Seattle, where there's a lot of immigrants that come over, and I see them, you know, treating other people rudely in common interactions, and maybe behaving sort of distastefully when it's like, you know, like, hey, it's not your fault. You're just not assimilating. Whereas, and full disclosure, I'm not a traveled person, but I do know a lot of people who've traveled. And so for what it's worth, from a humble place as I can come from, what I see is, wait a minute, like, as an American, an English-speaking American, like, if I come to your country, would I be dogged by not, you know, properly assimilating to your culture? And so I think that's just something to consider, that I feel like I wish I would see more people consider that when they go into these kind of tirades like that guy's going off on with this Jewish gentleman.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Christian seemed he seemed pretty calm, but yeah, it seems you're saying like you're commenting on the imposing nature of the situation there.
Exactly.
Because, like, if you were a person, I see what you're saying, man, and I agree. Like, I don't mean to be, like, nitpicky, like, I don't know, guys, to, like, anyone who's calling out Jewish stuff or whatever. My point is that I don't care about, my interest is not in those kinds of things. My interest is in you know, the spirit and stuff. And so you would think that all these people saying, oh, immigration is bad. We're getting invaded by the Jews. They support immigration and want to change our Christian way of life. That they would at least support, even if you might be wrong, someone who doesn't want, I guess, a Christian influence. I don't know why you wouldn't, but hey.
and I'm pretty ignorant to a lot of the hardcore like Jewish beliefs and whatnot. So that was very interesting to hear him, you know, the one gentleman state that, well, you Christians are idol worshippers.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. It makes me want to look more into it. I did see, you know, your episode where you spoke with the gentleman. What's his name? Josh?
Josh, yep.
Yeah, that was, I have to go back and re-listen to that because that, I only caught about a half of that, but that was
Cedars
a really
of Lebanon
podcast.
On YouTube.
Lebanon.
Cedars of Lebanon. Someone sent me a clip of that. Someone sent me a clip of that baby. I didn't realize what he had said. And during that interview, I had an interview with someone who's very knowledgeable about Jewish scripture the other day. You guys might want to check it out. But I didn't realize something he was talking about. I think he was talking with Art, and he was saying, like, about the evidence for the Holocaust. He's like, there's so much evidence. Look at all the shoes. We have all the shoes. I didn't realize what he was saying. I didn't realize that's what he was saying, like all the shoes collected of the victims as proof of all that. So I just found that interesting.
Yeah, that can still potentially, those sort of things can still, and you know, I don't want to say anything that would potentially get your channel flagged or anything.
Thank you.
But I had a brief conversation with a coworker yesterday about Princess Diana, and I know this is a stretch, but I'll make it quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't know. I told my friend, I don't know, man. Like, Princess Diana seemed kind of base, you know, for a gal. I mean, she knew her responsibilities as a woman, but she still wasn't afraid to, you know, go against the status quo when, you know, of the crown, which is the crown, blah 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 blah. But he looked at me and he was like, dude, don't you realize that you weren't there, and so your only basis for that is all the propaganda you've consumed in your entire life? And so, I mean, you can look back in history and do that with, you know, a myriad of different, you know, occurrences. But just
interesting.
On the subject of the Holocaust, that's just interesting. Anyways, yeah, if you know, I believe personally, you accept the risk if you go into a cultural region. You're aware of the culture there, be it religious or, you know, societal. And if you go in, you know, on a hot one, then, you know, I believe that it is your responsibility as a fellow human being to accept what can potentially come to you. You're taking the risk.
Interesting, man.
I got into that interaction with Jewish dudeskis. So that's just something I wanted to touch on.
Yeah, let's not lose the plot here. Right? We want that. We want to stop all that kind of influence as well. And so, right on, Jewish man, you're wrong for anger, and I don't know about all this killing stuff, but, you know,
seems like
you're trying to protect Israel. Okay, right on, man.
What is a fervent Jew supposed to do in that situation? You know, I mean, especially if he's charged up. Which I know we're not supposed to be, you know, we're supposed to come from a place of, you know, to, you know, drop the anger and whatnot. But I mean, hey, you know, he is who he is and he was where he was. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
I'll let you turn the wheels, sir.
Thank you, sir. Call me again, man. Sir. And wishing the bike network well. That's
hey, we got you, bro.
The secondary blood. What's it called? Bloodline of America. They say the truckers are. Or
God
whatever.
bless you and keep you and keep us away from the hoods of cars as well.
Big time.
Bye-bye.
All right, take care. Moving the wheels. Yep. We're gonna stop all this anti royalty talk. Okay. He's like, I appreciate talking to Nicholas there. He's all like, oh, the royalty, the royal family, right? I'm with Trump. Okay. Trump. I'm with Trump. He wants to debate Meghan Markle or whatever. I'm with Trump. I'm not down with all this monarchy hate. Okay. We can have honest conversations, but just irrational monarchy hate. I don't know. I'm not with it. Trump says he wants to debate Meghan Markle. I didn't like the way she dealt with the Queen. Can we get a little respect for the awesome royal families, and awesome in the truest sense of the word, right? Just awesome, right? It's grandiose, awesome things in their scope, both negative and positive. What shall we do now? Let me see what y'all are saying. I don't want to miss anything here. Thank you, everybody over there at Rumble. I see it's growing. Jesse Lee Peterson himself, awesome. Dennis 2020, Mildew Grew, Ohio Sentinel. Thank you. You guys rock. So here's what we'll do. Check this out. Look at what's happened to my darling Canada. You know, all of you know I grew up in Canada. He's an anchor baby from Canada. And I grew up in Canada from the age of 9 onwards. Until coming to America. I came to America a couple of years ago. Anchor baby. And look at what they've done to America. To Canada. I know they're like beta and they're like simps up there. But honestly, in general, most Americans I talk to don't think twice about Canada. There might be conservatives and they know about Justin Trudeau. But even then, they'll be like, yeah, Canadians, yeah, like the nicest people, whatever. Though it might be a little spicier. Simps, beta, look at your beta prime minister and how the state you've allowed your country to get into and all that. But in general, most Americans don't even think twice about Canada. And it's funny, Canada, the little brother, is just is the one who's like fuming. Like, the Americans, these Americans are so self-centered and America this, America that. And then America is just turns around and is like, oh, hey, what's up, Canada? Right on. Carry on. Look what they've done. You know about Canada, they love hockey. Hockey is not the main sport, though. I believe it's like lacrosse. What is the like sport of Canada? I swear, I remember this. This is a thing. Any Canadians in the chat know what I'm talking about? Because you would think it's hockey, but I'm pretty sure it's either the most popular sport is in fact curling, and the national or like government recognized sport is lacrosse, which is, you know, because it's connected to like the First Nations, the indigenous peoples. But hockey is obviously huge, and in America as well. I've gone years without thinking about Canada. Kind of wild, says John Frederick. See? But yeah, lacrosse. Anyways, hockey though. We're talking about hockey. Hockey Canada Summit puts toxic masculinity under the microscope. This just happened, but basically the Hockey Canada Beyond the Board Summit, you know, these are the main ruling bodies of hockey in Canada, examines how toxic masculinity in the elite men's game can breed racism, sexism, and homophobia, okay? Oh my God, another story like this? You're going to want to listen though. Masks designed by male... Okay, so yeah. A little bit of the report. Might as well watch this. Why not? But look what they're doing to my Canada. Oh, no. I have a place in my heart for the Canadians, right? I do appreciate. And as much as I was an anchor baby even up... Well, I don't know what... As much as I was an anchor baby up there and maybe not totally Canadian, I have brought with me a little piece of Canada here in America. So let's watch this a little bit, because they're saying this rough sport where you literally body check people, one of the only sports where the ref literally lets you brawl. They let you fight and throw punches and strike each other a little bit before they, break it up. Now go into the penalty box. They don't even remove you from the game, some of these fights. That's changing a little bit. But hockey is one of the only sports where two people they'll go like this. They'll throw the gloves off. You'll grab them. You'll grab Buddy by the jersey with one hand, and you just start feeding him the right. Okay? That's how you fight on skates. And it's like one of the only sports where you just full on like fight, and the ref lets you duke it out a little bit before throwing you into a penalty box for minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then you're back on the ice. Unless you get removed from the game. It could be, depends on egregiousness and all that. But they're saying toxic masculinity and all that. Let's watch this, okay, real quick, because this is all going to fit. It's all going to fit, y'all.
We educate on these issues in schools. We educate on these issues. People aren't scared. Society and our young people are not scared to talk about these issues. This is the world that they live in for the most part. So when they come into a system that is not accepting of this or that is systemic in this way, it's confusing for them. Very confusing. And so, you know, I think it's just staying up to speed with society and those that are coming into the sport. How are we going to attract people in our sport, right? If we are...
I mean, I already want to comment on that. You know, we just got to keep up with the world, is what he's saying. We got to do what the world's doing. Somebody tell him, somebody remind him the world is of Satan. Maybe this is a proof of the chasm that's been left behind by the waning of Christianity after those French got so mad at the Catholics for some reason. I don't know. They got so mad at the Catholics. The French, they have some really nasty history, and so they totally rejected that. And then the Anglos, they used to hate, you know, the Anglos and the Francos, English-speaking people, the French-speaking people in Canada, they don't really like each other, at least back then. So I guess the English-speaking people, because you become what you hate, then adopted what the French did, turning away from the church. I don't know, kind of my headcanon about the whole thing. Somebody remind him that following the world means you're following Satan. Hello. I don't know what no Christianity does to a nation's men, right?
So archaic in the way that we think.
Oh, yeah. And he's saying, how are we going to attract more people? So really, it's to keep the scheme going. More money. Like, why not just let people play hockey? No, we need to increase the amount of people. We need to get more young people. And what do the young people like? Well, they like gay stuff. And and they don't like the masculine stuff. And so now they support evil. Anyways.
In the way that they think, we're not going to attract young people because they want to come. For the majority of people that sign up for sport, you know, kids, they want to hang out with their friends. They want to have fun. That's what the research tells us. So if we aren't creating that space for them, people aren't going to sign up. And we're seeing that they decline in registrations in hockey across this country. So to me, I think this is a critical time that for hockey to dig in, to be honest, gut-wrenching honest with themselves. Like, you know, and get this right.
There's obviously a lot to do, but we've been able to identify.
Yep, they got black people in Canada, y'all. Okay, don't be so ignorant. They do have black people in Canada.
And get this right.
There's obviously a lot to do, but we've been able to identify some of the issues, some of the areas that need a lot of focus, that need to be changed, that there's a willingness to change. I think that's one of the keys that will come out of this, that we listen to a lot of Canadians, a lot of people who feel that things need to be improved, that there are ways.
All right, I mean, we don't need to watch the rest of that, but come on. You hearing the language here? Creating space. You're seeing two women. You're seeing two women talking. Even if they are just simply adopting the terminology, women created that terminology. The female spirit created that terminology, and you giving into it out of desire for money, keep your job, do whatever, is female. So you're seeing two women talk. Two women talk about what? Making hockey more feminine.
We educate.
And you saw a bunch of masks there. These masks were designed by male hockey players, were a research project presented at the summit and depicted how toxic masculinity hurts men in the game. And so some of these masks, here, let me show you some of them. These masks, I guess, were an artistic expression of how toxic masculinity harms people, harms men. Angry, scattered, unsure. Oh, wait, hold on. That makes sense. Anger does do that. But that's not a masculine thing. That's not a mask. That's not toxic masculinity. Somebody remind them. Somebody tell them what no Christianity does to men. You start believing the women when they tell you that anger is a masculine thing. I don't know why the nose of this mask says bi. Like, what the heck is that? Is that the bisexual flag colors at the top? Choose to be? Hold on. I lost you. I don't know. It had a message there. Anger, scattered, unsure. But now it's like, now you lost the plot. Now you lost me. You're bisexual? Is that? Yeah, that's definitely scattered and unsure. Are you trying to tell me that anger? It's the anger. See how anger's at the top and it's big? And so being scattered, being bisexual, and being unsure are daughters of anger. That's what this mask is trying to say, right? Based mask by whoever little hockey player made this. Obviously, that's the message of this mask, right? Anger begets scattered by and unsure. Money, green, silence. I guess you're being silenced by money. Okay, scattered, smart and focused. Okay, the message is a little unclear here.
Chose one.
Any more masks? Boys will be boys. I guess they're trying to say that's bad. Boys will be boys. Oh, you know, they say, the feminists, they say that's one of those terms that toxic masculine people proliferate. Well, boys will be boys. The existence of that phrase by itself that mere existence of this phrase is proof of toxic masculinity and of the patriarchy because it excuses behavior. But girls don't get the same. That's the vibe behind this mask. But girls don't get the same freedom and leeway. Boys will be boys, but girls have to be good. Oh, you know what I mean? That's the vibe here, but whatever. That's not true.
Well,
boys don't get to just be boys. Okay? They just feed them full of ADHD medication. So no, they don't just get to be boys. This is clear. But yeah, hockey in Canada, what's all this? What's the point here? It's the feminization of everything. Because it's not just here. It's not just in Canada with the hockey. Okay? And yes, this anchor baby can skate and play a little hockey. Okay? So, you know, yeah. The female spirit, okay? The female spirit, it's huge. And it's grown to such a level. You remember the Me Too? The Me Too movement. And it was all these celebrities coming out saying, we were raped, we were sexually assaulted, or all the way from rape to perceived slights that someone would see you as a sexual object or something like that, okay? And all sorts of women came out saying, #MeToo. Yes, that happened to me too. I too was whatever. Though it'll be like a rape, it'll be like a person raped and credible case and the person's convicted and everything. And you get all these women saying, me too. And then you come to find out that the Me Too is, yeah, and I had a guy look at me weird. So me too, sister, right on. And so I'm kind of giving a sweeping characterization of the whole thing. A lot happened, right? There was real stuff, I guess, that happened, but there was a whole bunch of ego women coming out just wanting to destroy men. The believe all women phrase came out of that whole thing. Believe all women all the time. If they're saying it, it's true. Why would a woman lie about being raped and all that? And they would come up with this or that reason to justify that thinking. A woman wouldn't say that because it's actually a negative to reveal that you've been raped. And so why would a woman want to do that? Totally ignoring that there is a motivation for all people, women included, to want to take down a man that has reputations, that has money, for all sorts of different gains. That's also possible. But that was ignored by the whole Me Too people and the Believe All Women crowd. So all that's been going on, and it's kind of changed the landscape a little bit in that it's really just made it harder for men. What I'm saying here, it's made society, the courts, and all these different things kind of against men in an evil way. in a way that's not proper. It's not about the truth. It's not about love, but it's about hating men. I mean, how better exemplified is that in the phrase, believe all women? That's just not logical. That's pure evil. Danny Masterson is in the news. You know Danny Masterson from That 70s Show. Danny Masterson, you know, That 70s Show. Who'd he play? What was his character? What did he play? That 70s Show. He was friggin' man, whatever. He played in the Hyde. Thank you, spoiler alert. He played Hyde in That 70s Show. And he's like, some pretty serious stuff is going on. He's basically gonna go to jail. Okay? Due to some rape cases, okay? And I stayed away from this story because I heard something about some Scientology stuff. There was some weird Scientology stuff. And so I pretty much didn't touch it because, I don't know, weird stuff happened in those, I don't know. It seemed culty to me, the Scientology stuff, and weird stuff. I've heard weird stuff about it. And because I didn't know much about it, I didn't touch on this story at all. When I saw it, you know, a while ago. But since then, I've been kind of here and there digging, and I recently dug harder, trying to find, well, what's the evidence here? Like, what is the evidence that was presented here that resulted in a rape conviction? Danny Masterson was convicted of two counts of rape in May 2023. This verdict came after a long, drawn-out court battle spanning several years. Okay. Notably, the evidence and proof presented against Masterson were pivotal. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Nice, I found the right article here. They're about to tell me the evidence. And if you don't know, Danny Masterson, 30 years to life in prison for rapes of two women in 2003. Quite a while ago. A judge sentenced That 70s Show star Danny Masterson to 30 years to life in prison Thursday for the rapes of two women 2 decades ago. Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Charlene F. Olmedo, ooh, sorry, man, you got hit with a female judge, handed down the sentence to the 47-year-old Masterson after hearing statements from the women about the trauma they experienced and the suffering caused by the disturbing memories in the years since. After hearing statements from the women. Okay. Obviously, there's more evidence, right? That was my mentality when going into this. I'm like, we're going to get into the evidence, right? Obviously, the statements from the women brought about a whole investigation, which produced a whole bunch of evidence, right? It's what you have to assume in America, where blind lady justice is leading the whole shebang, right? Right? Danny Masterson sentenced to 30 years to life for 2 rapes. He's married. Danny Masterson is married to 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. A 20-year marriage, I believe. She's not taking it well. Danny Masterson's wife, 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔, consoled, right? And there's all these articles and images coming out, and she's not looking happy. It's not looking good. She put out this emotional letter. I mean, Daily Mail calls it emotional letter to the judge, pleading the judge to not do this because she just can't accept this. She cannot accept, she's saying in this letter, she cannot accept that this is real, that Danny Masterson, her husband of 20 years or so, would do such a thing. She describes it. It's like a character. I was about to say character reference. I don't know if that's the proper term here, but she's describing Danny Masterson's character before a court of law and all that. Judge rejects that. It meant nothing to the judge because he was convicted for these 2 rapes. And yeah, Masterson had 2 trials. His first 6 months earlier resulted in a mistrial after a different jury were hopelessly deadlocked, called a hung jury. You know, you're supposed to be tried by a jury of your peers, and it's supposed to be unanimous. It's just clear that beyond a reasonable doubt, this person committed this crime. And it was like a hung jury. You would think, okay, well, that's not a conviction. That's not a sentencing. It went to mistrial, came back, unanimous decision here. Deadlocked on 3 rape charges. Basically, there were 3 rape charges in the earlier trial. They couldn't unanimously decide on the third one, threw it out. He was freed on $3.3 million bail. That ended with his double conviction May 31st. Now, prisoner number 6614941 has been locked up in the men's central jail in downtown Los Angeles. Danny Masterson. So, you know, I kind of, and there's another angle to this, which is the Scientology stuff. This Danny Masterson is a Scientologist, you know, and this is a weird, I call it weird because I don't know about it. And it seems a little odd. I drive by this huge Scientology church all the time up here in Hollywood. And it looks like this, it's so interesting. The Scientology in the area around it, the Scientology building in Hollywood, it's like this little oasis. This street that goes up, right before the Scientology building, Edgemont, this street is like nice and surrounded by crap. But this area is pretty nice. They got like, it looks like armed security guards in the campus area of the Scientology building. And they keep it kind of nice. I've even heard of, and I think I've even seen and I've met some, you know, locals in this area that live there. They don't seem like celebrities. They call themselves Scientologists, and they're the nicest people. Seem very like it's a small world after all kind of vibe, but they were nice people. And I know that they're involved with celebrities, right? They have a lot of, one of the things I read about Scientology is that they one of their missions is to protect young celebrities from the pitfalls of fame and all that. Now, I'm sure it's a nice, wealthy clientele to have that you're helping the Church of Scientology. You know how to pick them. You know what I mean? I'm sure they're very thankful. And if you're helpful, Church of Scientology, to them, I'm sure that that is not insincere in their donations if they do that. Right? Your churchgoers to the Church of Scientology. They call it a church. And I'm sure they might be helpful. Anyways, I don't know too much about them. There's allegations that the Church of Scientology tried to cover this whole thing up with Danny Masterson and all that. But apparently these were all people that were in this Church of Scientology. Danny Masterson and the women raped. Allegedly raped. Well, he was convicted. I don't know. So they were all in this church together. And I don't know too much about all that. Church of Scientology denying that they covered this up. I don't even think that's important. Because I'm trying to dig and find the evidence. What's the evidence here? And it turns out the evidence, let me just show you, in this nice little table presented to us by Los Angeles, whatever, summary of what was the evidence and proof against Danny Masterson. Let me double up this tab so I can read it in front of me. What was the evidence and proof against Danny Masterson that resulted in a conviction? Here we have a table here. We get a little summary. Testimony of the 3 victims in trial 1. This is a table of the evidence and proof. So you got testimony of the 3 victims, okay? And trial, like I just explained, there were 2 trials. And in both trials, yes, there was testimony of the 3 victims. Physical evidence such as DNA, yes, in both cases. Expert testimony. What the heck is that? Expert testimony, okay, yes, on both sides, both trials. Argument by the defense. Women were motivated by money or revenge. Women's allegations were false, according to the argument by the defense. And the verdict was a hung jury in the first one and guilty of 2 counts of rape in the second one. So wait a second. I mean, obviously there's physical evidence, right? DNA, because Danny Masterson, he's just saying that this was consensual. These women, and so the evidence here, obviously there's physical evidence like DNA. They clearly had, according to him, consensual relationships, but they had relations, physical ones. And so I'm led to believe that the way this becomes a rape case is the testimony of the victims years later. And that's enough? Like, help me understand here, y'all. Am I not getting something here? Is that really the standard of evidence here? Because it seems very low bar here. And it seems like if this is the standard, we're going to get a lot of innocent people. And if I'm supposed to understand something here about America, I know I'm just an anchor baby here from Canada. And now maybe help me understand some of you guys here. My understanding is that you're innocent until proven guilty, because it's better to have 100 guilty people, 100 guilty people go free than one innocent person go to jail. Right? Isn't that the mentality here? Nick, you're not aware. You're not allowed to say RAPE on YouTube. Oops. Oops. My bad. I'll just say grape. But yeah, my bad, YouTube. Am I supposed to understand this is the evidence here? The women kept his sperm for 20 years? That's a good question, John Frederick. I don't know. I'm not going to, but this is what they're saying. And I'm not going to say, look, if they're saying there's DNA evidence, whatever. But DNA evidence just means what? That you can place Danny Masterson at the scene of the crime? He doesn't deny that. And so what makes this a rape case or a grape case, what turns this into a grape case is the testimony of the women. Like, it's just this is not a good standard, y'all. Maybe tell me if I'm wrong here. 888-775-3773. But this seems like a horrible, let's say, Danny, whether he did it or not, this seems like a bad, just a gray cloud over men. It doesn't seem right. And we got some calls. Shout out to Welsh's Grapes, so true. We got some calls on the Jesse Lee Peterson show earlier today. Fascinating calls. One in particular was talking about there's a couple of calls with evil women keeping the kids away from the man. And just the lengths they would go just to hurt the man. Sacrifice the children just to do so. One in particular, a caller, described how this woman, willing to send him to jail, put him through all this, lie to the cops, lie to the courts, and what he had to go through. What he had to go through, you know, not to be emotional here, like, ooh, what he had to go through. He's clearly doing fine, overcoming the thoughts, overcoming what got him in the situation in the first place. I forget his name, but right on, man. That being said, what he had to go through in the courts, being lied about, sitting there, I mean, and how the courts just believe women. We got calls today. Not. This is not what's going to happen. This is not. The precedent that the implication of the Danny Masterson case and what might happen to men in the future. No, this was a caller today talking about what already happened to him and how the courts believed the woman, and they had no reason just to take her side. That's already happening. So. Danny Masterson, I don't know. Seems like a little weird to me. And I'm not an expert, and it could very well be that he did something horrible here. But if I'm supposed to understand here what I'm reading, doesn't seem right, y'all. That's a way more serious fight than everything we talked about. Ukraine, Russia, all this crap. Men are calling the Jesse Lee Peterson. They already called today. They called today on how the courts basically told him, like, you want to play with your life and try and fight this in court and say you didn't say that they're lying on you, but play with your life and face 20 years, or just take this misdemeanor charge and just take it on the chin. And he had to. He knew it was just strategically better. And isn't that amazing? Where in America, it's strategically better to just let them lie about you and just take the lesser charge than go out there and stand up for the truth because they are lying about you. It says something about America, no? I mean, yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. Just believe. Whew. So, I don't know, Danny. I don't know what's happening all there, but crazy. It's prisoner number 66. What are they? This is an amazing way to end this article on Danny Masterson. Now, prisoner number 6614941 has been locked up in the notorious Men's Central Jail in downtown Los Angeles. I believe he has a kid and everything. And he's just been in this marriage for decades and I guess just been fine. His kids and wife are all like, he's a great guy. Why are you putting him in jail? For things that he says were consensual. Crazy. Danny is a pawn. Distraction. Could very well be. But it's like, if he is a pawn, if he is just a distraction and a pawn, then so be it. He is then a pawn to advance this anti-man agenda. And so whether he's this pawn and Scientology and just a distraction, well, the evil people will not let this distraction and pawn go to waste. That's for sure. What are y'all saying in the chat? What's up, chat? Danny a Fifi now? What the? Like a Fifi? Like a mani quebrado? Anybody speak Spanish in the chat? Mani quebrado? That mani quebrado is a short way of saying like broken hand, which is a reference to like a limp-wristed person, and which is a reference to gay. So there you go, mani quebrado. Is that what Fifi means? Games for Rec. Oh, sugar pancake face. That's interesting. You have to ask yourself why Ashton and Mila. There is way more to this. There is so much more to this, I bet. And I got an inkling of that when I read something about Ashton and Mila and all this. It does seem a little bigger than just what they're telling us. I gotta say, there is something there. There's a thread that can be pulled. I don't know if it needs to be pulled, but there is a thread that can be pulled on this Danny Masterson stuff. I don't think it's just a Me Too casualty, but it is a Me Too casualty, and they're using it as such. But there might be some more stuff there. And then the Scientology stuff. Weird. 888-775-3773. On the heels, let me misuse that phrase once more, of this story, this meme I'm about to show you kind of takes on a different context, a different light, so to speak. Because I'm not really into, I don't know, Hitler and all that. I'm not too knowledgeable. I'm starting to read about all this stuff. Unnecessary War by Patrick Buchanan. But I came across this stupid meme. You're all trapped in a burning building. You can only save one. And after this story here and Me Too and after the stories we talked about today so far and all that, I don't know. I'm feeling like I'm going to save bottom right. You know what I mean? I'm feeling like bottom right is gonna contribute more to society in an awesome way, which is the truest sense of the word, right? In scope, could be negative and positive. I'm thinking I'm saving bottom right, y'all. Top left is Belle Delphine. Top right is that girl who was on Dr. Phil. What's her name? Cash Me Outside girl. She acts black. Baby, bad baby. Bad baby. They're calling her bad baby. Not a good baby, the bad baby. And then the bottom left is some social media influencer. What a horrible place we've gotten to society where women are these calling themselves social media influencers. Bottom right is Whoa Vicky. Her claim to fame is that she's a white girl who speaks black. That's literally her whole thing. And I know that there are white people who grew up around black people in like Oakland and like different areas, and they do speak that way sincerely. And I'm not saying that. No, her thing is that she literally says she's black. I believe that's how she went viral. And that she didn't always speak in this way. She didn't always speak with this accent, but she just adopted it one day, went viral, famous, and I don't know. I guess the character is too deep. You can't even let it go now.
Position. It's a blessing, but that's just what it comes with.
It's a blessing. That's just what it comes with. She didn't always talk like that. I remember earlier Woke Vicky videos that were like kind of black ghetto, but it wasn't like this. Like she's really mastered it. She's really turned it up to 11 now.
Now, generally speaking, are you good or bad when it comes to money?
Good or bad? I think I'm good.
Whatever. But yeah, I think I'm saving Adolf here. I think I'll have a better conversation with him at least. You know what I'm saying? But let me get to some calls here. Cash Me Outside definitely has a shiv. She might be the most helpful. Let me get to some calls. Art, Ohio, thank you for your call. You're on the air.
Nick, you said that, hey, first and foremost, shout out to Nick, shout out to his stream, and shout out to the chat. Go ahead and throw them beers up in the chat and the fires up in the chat for your old boy Art, baby.
Let's go. I wish I had a horn drop. That might work.
Straight up. So look, you said some callers called in earlier and was telling Jesse Lee Peterson about how the child custody courts went against him.
It was a crazy story. Yeah.
Crazy story.
Yes.
Well, everybody, we already know this. Man.
Yeah.
I mean, this ain't.
Art, you know this very well. I don't mean to put your business out there, but you know this very well.
Look, man, we already know this, man. And, you know, all praises to Father God or whatnot. And thanks to Father God for working with me and my temper. And see, that's the good thing about my little baby mom that she don't understand is that it was only Father God that kept me from not going off the deep end and doing something to, you know, physically harm her. You know what I mean?
Right on.
But the sad part is with these liberal females, is the Democrats on this plantation is playing a dangerous game. Because all it takes is for you liberal females out here playing this little game with the custody courts is that you run across a male that ain't got that moral compass and don't have no attachment to Father God and God, and Art knows that God has a bigger plan for me.
Yes.
And that I was kept here on this earth for a reason, and that ain't how I'm supposed to go. My life is supposed to go by me crashing myself out like a crash dummy. See, that's the difference between me and these other dudes out here. See, y'all gonna run across one of these liberal betas that ain't got they ain't got no light in them and they ain't got no attachment to Father God. And what they gonna do is they gonna take you and kidnap you and dump you off into the river with cement blocks attached to your feet. But see, the RDR ain't do that. But see, that's how the Democrats fool y'all. They trick y'all with all this feminist, you don't need no man, and y'all keep running to these courts lying on these men and stuff until one of these dudes ain't rap tired or whatnot, and they getting tired of getting ran and hung through the judicial system unjustly, knowing that they actually was probably like me, didn't do nothing wrong, innocent, and they really care about their kids, probably didn't rape you or didn't threaten you, and you don't even got a child protective order against you. So y'all gonna play them games with somebody, one of these dudes that ain't got no connection with God, and they gonna take you up off this earth. And y'all don't seem to understand that. Y'all think that y'all can go do this, and the devil's sitting there tricking y'all and telling and encouraging y'all to do it. But when y'all the devil end up capturing these female souls, the devil turns around and be laughing right at y'all because they got y'all souls down there in hell. You and your baby's dad, after he end up killing you and you go to hell, and then he end up going to hell right behind you. So he got two souls in one.
Crazy, Art. It's so true what you're saying, because people might think what you're saying. It's like, well, we wouldn't want evil like that happening. But what they don't realize is women are acting just as evil. And I'm not advocating for any violence at all. We all know that very well on my show. That's not what I'm about, and you as well. But people, it's like going up to someone and threatening. It's like a little skinny person going up to like a big dude and saying, "I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to hurt you." And then when you turn around to defend yourself, this skinny person is backed up by like a gang with guns. And what I'm describing here is women acting so crazy, so brave because they got the backup of the courts. But what they're doing is killing. It's like horrible. It's like destruction.
Bullying
And it's just as
men.
evil as some angry male who wants to hurt the woman for that, which I completely disavow. But
Me too.
But they're asking
Me
for it. You
too.
see what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy.
Yep. You saying, and then you like, and I mean, only thing you got to do is you got to look at your Bill Cosby and all this other stuff that's going on and whatnot. How are you like stand up and be brave? What the heck is so brave about 20 years later, 30 years later? Ain't nothing brave about that. I'm trying to figure out where they're getting these words from that's making them think that they're being brave for speaking up 20 years later, allegedly after they got raped, and allegedly it might be 20 other victims because y'all waited 20 years to speak up. That ain't nothing brave about that. Y'all should be ashamed to even speak up.
And there's nothing like good and forgiving about it either, because the mentality is, well, they have to pay. They have to pay. We got to get them. And this is, I think this is why I understand this concept of statute of limitations, that after a certain amount of years you can't try them, because when you're at the time you're trying to have, justice must prevail, right? But then years later it stops being about justice and it's about ego. And it's if 20 years later you haven't overcome and forgiven, then you know what I mean? Like there's something that you got to deal with there. Because what people don't understand is that, let's say you don't get the conviction that you wanted all those years ago. What people don't realize is that even though you didn't put that person in jail, and they should have been, don't get me wrong, if they committed a crime as such, what people don't get is that those people committing crimes, getting off and not going to jail, they're not free. They're still in their cage and they're suffering from anger that caused them to do what they were supposed to go to jail in the first place for. So in those 20 years, trust me, they were in prison, in the prison of the mind and anger. So you coming back all these years later just showing me that you're this angry, hateful person who has not forgiven.
But that's allegedly if they did.
If they did anyways, exactly.
They did, even if that's allegedly if they did commit that a rape crime.
Yeah.
If they did do that, but my thing is this. I'm just stuck on the fact that what is the reason and why didn't you bring this out when it first happened? It ain't like I know of plenty of incidents when I was a kid. I ain't gonna say I just know a whole bunch of them. I don't heard of incidents where I was a kid where it was, my cousin's friend, they said they got raped and they got a test done on them, and come to find out either they did or they didn't.
Right.
So, I mean, it ain't like they just started doing rape test kits and the cops just start opening their ears up to rapes. I mean, it wasn't like they were not allowed to go into the police station and make a statement to the police. They making it seem like in 2023, now you can just now start going into the police station and getting rape kits. They was doing them back 20 years, 30, 40 years ago.
Interesting. Yeah.
So
and I've come to understand too that it's like, well, why didn't you go back then? It's like, yeah, when something wrong happened to you, a crime, you should do it. And now I'm not gonna be ignorant to the fact that I think women do, out of some weird internal pressure, they might not want to say this or that, but that's usually because there's also a gray area in the event itself. It wasn't exactly rape. They didn't quite like it. There's like a lot of gray area, which causes conflict, and they don't know if they should go. There's perceptions. These people were involved in the Church of Scientology, so there may have been pressure. So pressure is real, but what you're saying is still true. That doesn't mean years later, like, why didn't you deal with that in a proper time, even with the pressure?
Yeah, man. That just don't make no sense to me, man. And even I'm gonna try to wrap it up or whatnot, But even with me talking about my little custody case, man, Nick, I had joint custody or whatnot, and I was so smooth with it. Me and her both, we had shared custody. And I would get him like a couple of days out every week. I would give my son a couple of days out of. So this one I had a little line service business and everything at the time. So bam. She seeing that I'm like, I ain't messing with my baby mom. She seen I ain't messing with her, bam, 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 boom. So I would end up cutting grass or whatnot. And then when I cut my grass, I'd be like, I'm about to come get him. So every time I'd get ready to come get him, I'd give her like a 30 minutes heads up before I was coming to get him. She would always basically switch the meeting when we were supposed to meet up. So I was basically going to the kiosk machine at the police station making reports of it. So when I go into court, I would have my evidence. Man, I don't took pictures, documented stuff. I'm thinking, already thinking I'm outsmarting the court.
Right.
And man, I'm about to go into court. I'm about to lay his case out smooth as day.
Truth shall prevail.
Man, you know,
Truth shall prevail.
Truth shall prevail. Man, none of that mattered, yo. And, you know, and I'm being this 100% to the core about what I'm saying. None of it mattered. It's like when they basically was making me seem like, man, Art, you was supposed to go ahead and just shut your mouth, even if she was making you, trying to trick you into coming to these different destination points, basically because we was supposed to meet at the police station, so it would be a neutral place. So she was basically forcing me because I'd be like, man, bring him here. Bring him to our destination. I'm not coming here. So what am I supposed to do? Just be like, oh, well, I'm not going to get my son today. So I'd bend and fold, and I end up going to where she had to get my son. Bam, 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 boom. So the whole time I'm documenting. So long story short, we go to the court case. These courts, the liberal female judge, stripped my rights away from me or whatnot. Bam, bam, boom. And it was just like one of these things to where that's why I had my little realization that the course is being one way. They only for the females or whatnot, and it's the way to keep the male on the plantation. They back you in the corner or whatnot, get you on your child support, take your rights away from you, and basically the males is supposed to be out here financially taking care of them. You're supposed to, the males, the liberals in these democratic areas, you're supposed to be going out here, keep having babies or whatnot, and how everything is set up. You ain't supposed to marry none of these females because if you see what everything is going on, like with the TV and all we independent women, believe all women, the liberal nonsense, they promoting you to be out the Bad Girls Club, Housewives of Atlanta, all this, they all promoting bad behavior, and all these females, then the minions and their little cult crew, this is what they sitting on a whole bunch of single females with cats and dogs sitting in the crib watching all this stuff or whatnot, running their baby's dads off and running through the courts.
It's crazy, man.
Yep.
And it's like what you said about switching up the times, that one hit because I've heard that so many times at this point now. And I'm just very lucky and blessed that I get to hear all the callers. I'm saying when you said about the mother switching up the time, you know, you give her a heads up 30 minutes, but she'll just make it difficult to see the kid. And I'm blessed and thankful that I get to hear so many callers on the Jesse Lee Peterson show and all that. I feel like I've had so many years of experience in life, kind of you know, I'm not saying I got it all, but like that I get to witness it and hearing what you're saying. I feel like I've heard that so many times. It really is the same. It's an evil spirit, and it's crazy, and they'll be willing to destroy the kids. They'll destroy everything.
Well, let me tell you something. This is something that I noticed too or whatnot, and this is to the young fellas or whatnot that might, it's either watching your show right now or might come across your show or whatnot. What I noticed is when these females is going through this or whatnot, like all this little liberal thing that they going through in life, they end up going to get another boyfriend, and when they doing what my baby mom was trying to do with me, they try to set people up like me to switch the destinations, and you want to see your kids so bad, you willing to do anything to jump through the hoop, and not understanding that they telling you to come to these other places because they want you to have confrontation with the new dude, the new beta dude that they putting the battery in his back, telling him,
and he's all, you know, he's taking her side like all the way because he's with a woman that has kids. You know what I mean?
He's a liberal beta. He's taking her side, man, and he's ready to go to bat for everything she's saying. And that's where a lot of these shootouts, killings, and a lot of this stuff, where you see a lot of these females, these females ain't just getting killed for no reason. They putting themselves in a lot of these situations with these dudes. And just like I said, they ain't got no attachment to God or whatnot, and these dudes end up going off the deep end and offing the baby mom or whatnot, and just either killing themselves or just end up going to jail. But that's what they try to do: set you up, get you out of your comfort zone. That's what they always try to get you out your comfort zone to where you end up letting your guards down, and then that's when they try to attack you. But the courts, they don't want to hear none. Because really, truth be told, the courts, I don't have to even say this. they see this. They see my story come in them courts day in, day out. The males is saying this same thing I'm telling you to the judge. Till we red in the face, they don't care. They're going to go with the female because it's how the Democrats are funding the Democratic Party and keeping these liberal cities running. Is off the backbone of the men.
Politically expedient, absolutely. And yeah, man. And that's why those DV calls for police are so dangerous. Domestic violence calls.
Heck yeah. They the most dangerous. They're the most dangerous calls and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely are. I mean, I don't understand why the females don't understand it. They're playing a dangerous. They're playing in fire. They're playing a dangerous game. Like you playing with a human being, a person that has.
I know it's almost unbelievable. It's almost unbelievable, but it's like what we've been talking about today. It's almost unbelievable that Chicago would vote Brandon Johnson again. It's almost unbelievable that people don't want peace. But how can we explain all this? It's total. It's not logic. It's pure freaking spirits. It's literal demon possession. It's crazy.
Yep, and then Elon Musk is talking about the drop in people having babies or whatnot. What do you think that a lot of the dudes who was around me and it was my friends that I was going over their house and I'm telling them, like, man, the course is crazy. This young dudes that I'm talking about are the young dudes that even, I might not even tell them my story. They just from the outside looking in and seeing what I'm going through or hearing what I'm going through from, the streets talk and the neighborhood talks and people going to talk among people. These younger dudes hearing this stuff and hearing my story and stuff, ain't nobody going to want to have no kids, especially no dudes. And they be like, man, I'm going to have to potentially go through this.
That's an interesting point, man. I wonder how much that has affected birth rates and the whole Me Too and kissing up to the women and all that. I wonder how much that's affected birth rates and all that. Yeah. And those same people affecting all that are like, oh, no, birth rates are low. Let's bring in all these immigrants.
Yeah. And then it's so crazy, even with that, man, you have to pay so much money between filing paper, because I was basically representing myself, and that was a trick too, but I was realizing it was a trick because when you go in and out the course, they want to see if you coming up there trying to be, if you basically, they want you to keep continuing it for 10 months to see if you're going to keep following through with the case or you're going to give up, to see if you got an attitude, see if somebody's vindictive or whatnot. They send people out into the lobbies to basically act like they just here to listen to present their case when they're actually there to run back and tell the judge, I heard him on the phone while I was sitting in the lobby, and he was saying that he just taking his baby mom, or the baby mom was in the lobby saying, fuck his ass, or excuse my language, forget his butt.
Apology accepted.
I'm just trying to, they trying to hear if they have people in the lobby, see if they can hear them talking about stuff that might maybe hurt or help their case. But a lot of it don't matter when it comes to the mail, because the cards is already stacked against you. Yeah. And just like I said, man, you're going to waste so much money going through them custody courts or whatnot, and it ain't nothing but a big racketeering of money, extorting the mail out of money.
I remember I heard your calls, over time, and saw you even wake up to that point as well. Big time, how it was a waste and how these people are against you.
Yeah. If you ain't financially stable or whatnot, or you ain't mentally stable, it will eat you up, devour you, and spit you out. And if and even with the court system, see, they don't understand. It's basically like when you going into them court in that courtroom in them lobbies, it's basically like a ritual. You see what I'm saying? They basically put all the spells that you writing when you writing sentences out, in the wording, in the paperwork, all them are demonic spells that they're trying to cast on you. And the females don't understand that they're under a spell, and a lot of these males don't understand that they're under a spell when they're going into these courtrooms. Like I'm trying to think, the emblem, the crescents, like the Ohio crescent.
There's a whole, I'm following. There is a whole fanfare and ritual to it all.
Well, it got satanic stars and little basically, what's the word, Masonic symbolism, occultist symbolism in the signs and whatnot. So you basically, when you going in there, you basically putting a spell on you, and it drains you. If you act like, even with me, I would be drained of energy when I would come out of the courthouse. A lot of people don't understand why they be drained of energy, or they end up being stressed out or angry or extra happy, which is an emotion, to where all of it is basically a ritual, and they don't understand it. They trying to cast spells on you, and then that's how the devil comes into you in the life. Like I said, that's how a lot of these chicks end up getting killed, and are going to end up and keep getting killed because they playing games with the devil, and he's going to collect. And they thinking all this Me Too movement and these judges and these DAs and prosecutors is with you, but no, they setting you up to get you up off this earth, to get you the devil to capture your soul, when all in all, you really supposed to be married and between stick with your husband through thick and thin, and a lot of this stuff wouldn't be going on. The murders between the male and the female, and the dysfunction between the kids, the breakdown of family, a lot of this feminist liberal stuff wasn't going on, but they don't see it. They feel like just because they make it through, it's all right. They just pass it on to the next. So you like, what you mean make it through? Just because they ain't the statistics that end up getting killed by the crazy baby dad, allegedly the crazy baby dad.
Right.
I made it through. Then okay, we're gonna promote the females. The liberals keep promoting it like, oh, you don't need no man. So it turns to the next female, she can go do the same thing with the court, but she might not get the same outcome that you gonna get. See, look, Ronnie Ron gonna set her up to get her to come to the store parking lot, and he gonna empty his 40 cal Glock into her. You see what I'm saying?
I'm following.
He's getting tired of playing the games with the court. He's getting tired of having to fight with your new boyfriend. He's tired of you lying on. He's getting tired of keep having to go back to jail because of a fake protection order that you don't got on him.
Yeah, and then in that vein, you can see how society unravels.
Yeah.
It just gets worse.
But yes, it do. But I just want to drop that off of what I heard you saying about the Jesse thing.
No, and I thank you, man. Appreciate that.
And, unlike the liberal females and these beta liberal males or whatnot, I want to tell the truth so another young man can maybe hear what I'm saying and don't fall into the trap and learn and get some things that I might have said and be like, dang, I see what Art is saying. Okay, I ain't know that, or I didn't think of that, and I'm glad I heard. You know what I mean? So each one teach one. Drop some jewels or whatnot. Yeah. So truth be told, breathe life into this earth and into this world, trying to be a father God or whatnot. Hopefully people start waking up and stop playing games with these kids, these baby dads and these baby moms, and stop running through these courts or whatnot, so we can fix this broken system. It's already been fixed.
Big time, man. Big time, man.
Later, Nick.
Art, thank you for your call. Call me again.
Yeah, we rolling with Trump.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that, Art. Hung up on you there, but yeah, we rolling with Trump. You know it. Moving the wheels. Yeah, it's crazy. These courts, it's better for them to make sure that there is a loser in these cases. If you divide things, divvy it up even, equal custody, all that. When you don't have a loser, then you don't get the child support. Someone has to lose, because if you have a loser, then that one is going to pay the child support, and some of that money goes to the courts. Goes to the state. You didn't know that? Dollar incentive for the courts to make sure they find a loser in these marriage, custody battles, all that. And any young guys listening, you heard the whole Carl with Art. Maybe you've never watched my show before. You heard about me, me from Canada or somewhere else, and you're watching, and you're like, dang, I'm hearing all that, and I gotta go break up with my girlfriend. Calm down. Maybe you don't know Jesse Lee Peterson, and maybe you don't know what we're about. Check out Jessie Lee Peterson. Check out www.silentprayer.video. You could start your journey there on coming out of the mind, the thoughts, and all the things that motivate us to do the things that we do, that we think we decided to do. So before you get all hasty, like going MGTOW and breaking up and no women ever or anything, check out The Silent Prayer. Check out Jesse. You know, he talks to people all the time that say that have been through things that Art went through and all that. It's about not looking. Okay, let me give you a little clue there. If you think it's about hating women, if you think it's about this or that, finding the right woman, finding a Christian woman, it's none of that. Just stop looking. That's just giving you little clues, okay, y'all? So if you've never watched my show before and you just tuned in and heard Art and all that, because this evil spirit that we're talking about that is in women, it's in men as well. That's why you start acting like a woman. Not your natural nature, huh? You never heard any of this? Definitely you want to check out Jessie Lee Peterson. Silentprayer.video. Check out my show tomorrow. We'll be back for more American Anchor, baby. Wednesday, we got a Wednesday show. Should be nice. We got a nice show for the Jessie Lee Peterson show tomorrow. You're going to want to tune in. Wow Hassan, you don't want to miss it. New episode, Wow Hassan, tomorrow, Wednesday at 11 a.m. Of course, the Hake Report. Always good, always solid, 9 a.m. tomorrow. And one last time, plug my show, 12 o'clock, same time tomorrow, Wednesday, American Anchor, baby. Guys, it's always a pleasure. Ladies, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the calls. And thank you for tuning in. I will see y'all tomorrow. What else here? Let me make sure I did not miss any super chats or anything here. And that is all for now, y'all. You guys rock. Take care. I will see you. Let me make sure my outro here is going to be a solid, that we switch to the right things. All right, y'all. Again, as always, a pleasure. See y'all tomorrow.